So I've loaded a whole new world, so we can start doing Minecraft again. I'm gonna try and do them more often. I haven't been doing them all that much lately because, well, actually, I've done like 50 plus episodes, and after that many episodes, you kind of run out of things. I mean, you run out of. I think I did so many at one time that I needed to sit back, collect my thoughts, and think about a whole new range of thoughts, and also develop as a person so that I can bring some new entertainment. Excuse me. So I can bring you guys something new. So some new ideas, some new theologies, something that you guys will be entertained listening to. I know these if you've been here from the beginning, I think you've seen pretty much all the faces that I have in the Minecraft series, and well, at least when my old self, and I'm always continuously developing myself as a person, developing my persona, my ideas, everything sort of it all comes around in a circle, and I go through the death and I get rebirthed as like a new type of person all the time, and I just think that's how everyone is, but they don't realize it all the time. It just takes a while for some, when a change happens, there's the initial reaction, and then there is a response after, the reaction takes place. And sometimes people get stuck on the reaction, so they can't move past, something that's happened dramatically, especially if it's dramatic. So to me, like, I think that it's really awesome that whenever I catch that something has changed in me, and then I can kind of assess it, but not all the time. And there are a lot of things. It's so complex that there are a lot of things in your life that you probably don't know that have changed about you, and you don't understand yet, and you will understand in the future, and then you'll be like, man, I was a dumbass back then, or you'll have your initial reaction after that. But for me, I think that I've gone through a lot of things in my life that have made me the person. Well, obviously, I mean, they've made me the person who I am today. But the thing that gets me is the other people on the other side, like the people that either did things that like did negative things towards me. Not saying that I got molested or raped or anything, but I'm saying like say for my brother, my older brother, he lives near me. He lives in the same city pretty much, but he has a family, and he's my oldest brother, and I have 7 brothers, 7 sisters. So my oldest brother, when I first came out to live on my own, he pretty much abandoned me. He said that he would help me out in the beginning. So he said, like, I will help you out with a place to stay out here in the city, because this is a whole different state that I was moving to. And he said, like, I will help you out. I'll let you sleep on my couch or whatever. He had a whole room. He had a room that he wasn't using, so he let me come out here and stay with his family. And one day I came back home to his house, and it was always like a 4-hour bus ride, because it was a whole different. It was like a close city, but it was still like a little far. The city I live in is pretty big, so it was like a 4-hour bus ride to get to school. And when I got to school, it pretty much, like, I would get there, I would go to classes, I'd probably be late, like 30 minutes late or something, but it was college, so it doesn't matter. So I would get there late, and then I would leave late. So I didn't have any time, like 8 hours on the bus every day. You don't have time to get a job. So I was still looking for a job. I still put my applications places, but there was like nowhere where I could go where it would be in reasonable time that matched with the bus schedules. So it was pretty bad in the beginning. And my parents were the ones who were giving me money, and my brother wanted me to give. He wanted my parents and me to give him money at the same time, like in tandem, like me for living at his place and my parents for I guess taking care of me or something. I don't know what he was expecting. It was some ridiculous like that. And I guess he was just trying to make a quick buck off of me and my family. Well, I mean, I don't consider him my family, so that's why I say me and my family. So I pretty much like I wasn't rude to him at all. Like he was he was rude to me all the time, but I tried to keep my wits about me. I didn't ever say anything negative to him, even though he would say certain things or whatever. I just sort of brushed them off. I didn't really listen to him because it was just pointless. Like, what would I do? Like, what would I accomplish if I had listened to what he was saying, and if I spoke back to him? I mean, he was helping me out, so I understood. I just took it. I was like, whatever. He's kind of, he's my older brother. He probably knows best, so I should just listen. So I would listen to him, and he became more and more of a nagging, like a prick, pretty much. And I just kept to myself. I didn't say anything. I never responded to him. I just sort of went along my way, kept going to school, kept doing my thing. And then one day, it was probably about 2 weeks into the class, and I came back to my after my 4-hour bus ride home, I came back, and my brother had thrown all my stuff out in his yard. Like, everything was out there. And I was like, I was already like tired, exhausted from like school and taking the bus ride and everything. And I get home so I could go home and sleep and shower and everything. And then all my stuff is out on the yard. He won't answer his phone. He won't answer the door. He won't do anything for me. So I'm just like, man. I was like, what do I do? So I just met a friend there. In my class, and I just gotten his number because we were gonna work on some school stuff. We were on the same project, so I was gonna work with him on those. And me and him were we just like met. And I would never ask anyone for anything if I just meet them, but I ended up calling him like out of the blue, and I just met him that day. I just got his number that day, so I call him. I'm like, hey man, my brother or where I'm staying, like my brother, he just threw all my stuff out on the lawn, and I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to stay. Like, I don't know if you have a couch I could sleep on for tonight, or if you have something. You have I don't know. I'm gonna try and find a place to store my stuff. And then he's like, oh, man, don't worry about it. He's like, I'll come by. He's like, just tell me the address. And he drove by, picked up all my stuff, and we threw it in his storage. And then I slept on his couch for a week. And then I found a job, and he lived really close to the school. So I was able to find a job. I was able to get all kinds of stuff for for everything. I paid him, like, part of the rent for when I stayed with them. And then I found a new apartment, and he was so nice that he didn't even ask for part of the rent, but I paid him anyways because and plus my parents were helping me a little bit, but they when I don't come from like a really I don't come from a really I don't come from money. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say, is like my parents don't have money all the time, and it's that's just how it is. So I ended up finding a job at this sports place, as working in the, what kind of stone is this? It's like gravel stone or something. Never seen it. But anyway, I found a job there, working there, just doing. Hold on, I gotta cook and stuff, otherwise I'm gonna die. Found a job working there, and then so my brother, like, after a few years, it's been like 5 or 6 years now since that's happened. Actually, it's been more than that, probably almost 10 years. It's been like 8 or 9 years, pretty much around 8 or 9 years. So talking to him, he wanted to talk to me on the phone. He called my parents, and he wanted to make amends. He wanted to be, he wanted me to talk to him again. And he wanted to be my friend. He wanted to, meet sometimes because we live in the same city, and he wanted to pretty much make amends, and we would be okay again. I wasn't having it, so I told him no. And I would never do that to anybody, but you know, for him it was just like, just realizing after the fact of all that time, just realizing like, if I had my little brother at my apartment, he would never come home and see his stuff out. He would never come home and see like all his stuff just out and about. You know, someone could have came by and stole it, and that wasn't even a good neighborhood. It was really bad. So now that I realize that, I just can't forgive him. I mean, no, there's a lot of parables out there and all that about forgiveness and whatnot, but I just can't. I can't forgive him. I can't do it. Like, it's just not in me anymore. I've grown a lot, and I realized that, you know, that was just that was a really terrible thing to do to somebody, especially your brother. You know, like my little brother, my actual little brother, he would, you know, me and him are so close that would never happen between us. And it's just, I guess my older brother, I didn't really grow up with him. Maybe that was the reason why. Maybe he thought he was envious of me for some reason. Maybe he thought like my parents were favorable of me, or I don't even know. But something along those lines happened, and he had some sort of grudge against me, maybe. That's the only thing I can come up with, because when he talked to my dad about it, he told my dad that it was something that, you know, like because he goes to church a lot, so he was saying that I wasn't going to church enough with him or something like that. And I told my dad, I said, I don't even know, like I didn't think that being forced into a religion was part of being, you know, helped or whatever from my brother. I thought he was just my brother. So I mean, not to say that I didn't go out of my way to like say that, you know, I hated religion or anything like that. That wasn't the case at all. I never talked about religion when I was around him, because I know it was a sensitive thing for him. That was like his main thing. So maybe it was his religion, but I love how religion always brings people apart. But I don't think so. I think it was just because my brother had a grudge against me for some reason. I think that's why. There's no other explanation. I can't make anything up. Like I can't think in my head like there's some other reason. So I've come to terms, you know, that I'm never going to be close to my brother. At least not like the way I am with my little brother. And it's taken, you know, the reaction time for me after all those years was pretty long. It took me a while to just, you know, let it set in and then think to myself like, wow, that was a really crazy thing to do. But I'm over it now. I mean, what is that? I hear something. Let's collect this iron. I don't know if I should. Yeah, I should probably just cook it now. Make some swords and an axe. I don't know what this is. I don't know if that's like a new thing for gravel or whatever. I don't know. Looks kind of cool. Yeah, let's cook some of that. Cook some of that up. See what's down here. I don't really want to invite any monsters up here. This is hardcore mode, so if I die, it is over. It is done. So I've been thinking to myself like, all right, so why haven't I been on Minecraft? Why haven't I done another video after, you know, it's been like 50 episodes, and I think I've explained that before, but really, it's really draining to do these videos mentally, because I have to kind of assess myself, and it's kind of tough to do. I mean, it's really tough. I didn't even see him there. Try and get some dogs. Ah, creeper. Should I kill him? don't know what to press. I need that wool. Let's put this here. But yeah, it is pretty draining to do these videos. Not only that, but it just takes over my computer when I render it, and it is. But they're fun to do. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They're pretty fun to do, especially sitting down, being able to talk to, even if it's just talking to myself for however long, like an hour, a couple hours, whatever. It is nice. It is nice to let go of a lot of thoughts. But sometimes when I do these videos, they bring up a lot of things. Like my brother, I wouldn't have talked about it today if it wasn't, you know, for doing this episode or whatever. And for me, like, whenever I think of, you know, stuff like my brother, it's just, those are things in the past, and it's tough, like, talking about them. Oh, gotta dress myself. It's tough talking about them without getting out too much information. Also, I did a let's see here. Let's chop this down. Let's make a bed, actually. I shouldn't have chopped it down. I thought this, actually, that was a different file. I was thinking, like earlier, I made another file as a hardcore mode, and like right off the bat, I got killed by a creeper. Like right away, it was crazy. It was pretty funny. Like the moment I made the world, I walked around for a little while, and like 5 minutes later, I exploded. I should have posted that, actually. That would have been pretty funny. And then it was like, you have to delete this world now. Like in the dramatic way that it does that. Alright, let's go to bed. Alright. Is it day now? Yep. Let's take our bed down. Let's take our torches. Let's head out into the world. How many of you guys have watched all of the Minecraft series up until now? If you have, type in the comments section Thunderbolt. If you haven't, type in the comments section Grapevine. So I can kind of gauge and see how many people have watched. And if you've watched up to this point, write Thunderbolt or the other thing that I said, the Grapevine, and type in tall grass. I don't know. I want to know, like, how many people are who watch this series actually have seen all of them, because there's been a lot of points in this in my Minecraft world adventure on YouTube that I think are pretty key points in this whole development of myself. Actually, someone told me something a while ago, or actually it was like a few days ago. They said that if I were to take the character that I am on my channel, my YouTube channel, and bring it out into the real world, or use that energy, that type of energy in the real world, that I would be, you know, I would become, I would go beast mode pretty much in real life. And I'm trying to think, like, what aspects of my channel actually, you know, what is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about, like the you know, the YouTube followers and stuff like that, or is he talking about just going all out and not caring and just doing whatever I want to do? And I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think he meant by that? Because to me, when I think of my channel, I don't even think it's really a channel for everyone else. I think it's a channel just for me. I just post stuff that I think is funny. I really just post videos for me when I post these videos. When I post these Minecraft videos, I go to work and I listen to them myself. I not that I just listen to my own chat and my own videos. I just am interested in what I've said. I'm interested in, you know, in what I said at certain times, and sometimes I can visually think about whatever I've been talking about, and it kind of puts me in a better mood, or it puts me in a different mood, or in a listening mood, or maybe just listening to my voice sometimes is soothing for me, just because it feels like I'm at home. Like I feel like I'm in my own mind. I feel like I'm thinking, and my mind doesn't have a voice. I wish my mind had a voice. I wish my mind had a voice like Morgan Freeman or something. That would be amazing. That would be epic. Look at this tree. Now how that tree survives up there. It's crazy. Need some more meat. Some more experience points. I should build a home out here, just so I have like all this food supply. But another thing about building near cows and sheep and all that is that all you hear is the moo sounds and all those farm animal sounds like nonstop. You know what reminds me of cattle is mangoes. I have an uncle when I was a kid, like I don't know, around 8 or 9. I lived out in a really rural area, and my uncle, he owned a farm, and he owned like stallions, and he raised horses, and he didn't race horses, he raised horses, and he also had cattle. So he would feed his horses mangoes, and he would also sell mangoes. He had a farm, and that smell of the mangoes was so strong around his home. He just had so many mangoes. He had a lot of mango trees, and just that smell of the mangoes, the taste of the mangoes, just reminds me of that, of his place, because it was like out in the middle of nature. It was a really nice place, and I haven't been back there in a long time. I wonder how it is. I wonder if my I wonder how my perception of it would be today, because back then it was like a wonderland. There was a lot of cool stuff there. There was all these ditches that were around there that I probably shouldn't have been around anyways, because there's a lot of snakes and stuff out. But I was a little kid. I didn't really care. So I was just out there like going through all those ditches, having fun, like making these little huts. Because I remember this one ditch had this really cool like tree that had roots that sort of covered the ditch, so it was like a little hut under there, and you would go under, and there was also some other kids that lived near there, and they actually made it into like a little hut. Like eventually, I guess when they grew up, it became like the stoner spot. but before that, it was a really cool little area. And also there was a tree that was similar to that one that had a huge root base, like a massive root base. And it was so big that it was pretty much like a building. So my uncle, he actually carved it into a legitimate building. Like I think he chopped it down now, or it burned down or something. But I just remember there was just so much to that. It was just so big. It was crazy. It was a big root tree, and I wish I could explain it. It was like if you ever played Zelda and you know the tree of life or whatever that tree is called, the Deku tree. That was exactly how that tree looked. Not like the trunk wasn't that big. It wasn't like prehistoric size big, but the roots were crazy. I don't know if he made them like that, or if they were just like that, or if my memory is serving me wrong, and maybe it was just like the branches went over. I don't know. I just remember there was something like that, and it was really cool, and it was one of the cool places in my life, because it was kind of like a wonderland, like like something you would see in I don't know, I guess something you would see like in a Disney movie or something. It was cool. It was a cool place. I also learned a lot of English. I learned how to spell there when I was at my uncle's place. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened there. See, there's so many things, there's so many places that I've been to in my life. Like, there's been good places, like my uncle's place, where it was kind of out in nature, and it was really cool. And my uncle, he was he doesn't believe in religion. He doesn't have a religion. He just lives life. He just lives life according to his farm, and that's how he gets along. And that's more the mentality that I like. I like just living according to, your surroundings, just enjoying yourself and having trying to improve your quality of life more and more and more throughout your throughout your experience. And I think that he has the better mentality, more healthy mentality than my brother, which is my brother lives in the city and he lives in poverty. My uncle lives in poverty too, but he lives in a different type of poverty. He doesn't live in like a poverty where he can pretty much be self-sustained. If the world were to ever destroy itself and he was, all that was left was nature, he would be good. He would be all right. He doesn't need the only thing that maybe he needs are like the bare essentials, like medical stuff, and he doesn't even really need electricity. He has everything set. He even doesn't even go on the grid sometimes, but I think now he does. But I mean, his kids, they grew up knowing that life, but they're kind of they're like more modern too. They're modernized too, so they need the internet and everything. So I'm sure I know they moved out, but I know he's still there, him and his wife. But they live a really healthy, awesome life, and he doesn't do anything destructive. Like he doesn't drink or he doesn't do anything bad. He's a really awesome guy. He just lives according to the land. And it was really cool to know somebody like that, because later on I can reflect and be like, what, that was a really cool way to live. Maybe one day I can go out into the wilderness and live like that. I don't know though, I'm too spoiled to the internet. Plus you guys would never see another Minecraft video ever again. But oh man, almost died there. Yeah, that's an iron pickaxe. So I've seen many aspects of life, and my brother, he's like a totally different person too. Like the destructive thing he does is he is destructive with his mind. Like not saying that religion is bad for everyone. I mean, it works for some people, but for him, it boxes him in to the point where he can't think of anything else. Like he can't think of his own original thoughts because it just holds him back that much. But he has at least he has conviction in it, I guess. That's kind of good, is that he has conviction in the way that he lives his life. It just conviction versus your family. I mean, the conviction to the point where you throw out your own family member is kind of, that's when it's extreme. That's when you get wars from like holy wars and stuff like that. That's when the United States has to step in and take you out. No, but I really do. It really is a shame because my other brothers are really cool. Even my little brother's really awesome. We all sort of know each other, and we know how each other lives. We know more of each other than we do know each other. And I don't think that I ever really want to get close to any of my family members, like aside from my little brother and the immediate family that I had, like my sisters and stuff like that, because I guess and maybe they have like misconceptions of me or whatever. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just because I've drawn the line. Maybe I've drawn the line against them. And, the only thing I can expect from them is disappointment. That's a possibility too. So I haven't ruled all of that out yet. I mean, I haven't ruled all of them out yet. But for now, I'm okay being myself. I'm okay where I'm at. I'm actually in a really amazing place right now. Like as far as like my life goes, I'm in a really good spot. I don't need anything from anyone. At least there are things I need, like to learn more, and I need like some criticism from certain people, but not I don't need I don't need to be around my brothers. I don't need to be around my family members just yet. I think that I have to develop more as a person, become more self-sustaining, and then become my own individual person. And I think that when that happens, it's gonna be a really good thing for me. What's that thing? All right, cool. Okay, it's done. It is now day. So my goal from now on out is to start figuring out what it is that makes me all the things that hold me back. Like, say my brother, for instance, you know, like his conviction holds him back sometimes, but his conviction also, I guess, keeps him grounded, keeps him away from drugs and stuff like that. My other brothers are really into drugs. They're really into crime, and they're always in jail. I'll be lucky if there's at any one point one of my brothers is, or all of my brothers are out of jail. Like, all of them are always in jail, and that's all I've known, and I've escaped that. And I realize that I've escaped you know, that pattern of life. Okay, so we're back. There's a running mentality in the ghetto that keeps people from, you know, there's a system already set, and that system works pretty well. The system is, you know, like, you get dragged into something, say like a gang or something. It is more frightening and possibly more, and it is really dangerous to try and leave that unless you have, like, you know, like help, like crazy amounts of help. And even when you do leave, everybody else that you've ever known in your life is pretty much still back there. So if you ever want to leave, you still have to rely on people that are still in that mentality, and a lot of them are going to despise you. A lot of them are going to despise you because you're trying to do something with your life, and they're not going to want you to succeed. They want you to stay in your mentality. They want you to help them, you know, and they want you to stay there and help perpetuate the poverty and the crime and everything. And it's a really sad cycle of life, but that's just what happens in that world. Is you just grow, and you grow up around certain things. Like, I grew up around a lot of people who were drunks, a lot of people who were I grew up around a lot of poverty, around a lot of child abuse, around a lot of people who were really bad. And then there was always the running mentality that, like, if you went to church, then you were a good person. But even then, like, those were a lot of times those were the worst people that I've met, because they would go to church, and then after church, then they'd go back to their old habits. They would go back to all the stuff that, you know, you despise about growing up in a bad area. And I've seen a lot of things. Like, I've seen people who have done really, you know, really crazy things. I've experienced people who you don't want to be around. I've experienced people who pretty much I've experienced friends dying. I've experienced people dying. I've experienced a lot of people dying to gang violence, and it's, you know, it's really shame. It's just really sad. And I can't, you know, there's some people that just didn't deserve to die like that. I have a friend he was like, I think he was like 19. Actually, he was 17, because this is like my senior, or no, this is my 11th year, my sophomore year in high school. And I remember there was a prom for the seniors, but my friend still went to that prom because he got invited. His girlfriend was a senior, and he got invited to the senior prom. So he went in there, and after the prom, they got really drunk, and they were driving around, and my friend got into a fight because apparently his girlfriend was also with another guy, and they met each other, and then they got in a fight, and my friend beat the other guy up, and then later the guy came back with all his friends and shot my friend and killed him. That same night, one of my friends was also going to the party, to that same prom, and he ended up driving drunk home, and his car like wrecked, and he twisted and turned, and he died. And also he in that accident, like one of the teachers I was with, she was really attached to him. Like they were best friends or whatever. You know how some teachers, you just get along with them so well. Well, that's, that lady, I had her the next year, and she had his fender or his bumper for his truck, like it was so mangled and torn up, and it looked ridiculous, and she had it hanging on the wall as a reminder to everybody, like as a way maybe that his that crazy looking bumper could stand as like visual for people not to ever. And the first thing that she talks about when you get into her class is that fender. She immediately tells you about it. But what's funny, what's kind of ridiculous is I remember her like during my this is gonna be crazy, but during my senior prom, there was a senior prom party at one of my friend's house, going away party for everyone because we were all going to different colleges and stuff, and I saw her there, and she actually asked me where the beer was. She was like, "Are there any Tecades left?" Now that I remember that is she has that message, and it's the first thing that you hear about her. And then you go to your own party, and she shows up, and she's asking you, "Where is the beer?" I just realized that right now. That is ridiculous. Man. See, that sort of stuff would never occur to me if I never sat down and told a story to somebody else. To see those like, especially like her, like it's the same thing as like you see somebody who goes to church and they talk about smoking and stuff, and then you go out to the parking lot and they're out there smoking. Not that smoking is a sin, but keeping your body as a temple or whatever they say, it just goes against the teaching. There was actually one I remember there was a pastor I had who's talking about like how people are smoking. He knew about the problem too, because he was out there like judging people for it, and then I remember seeing like the day, like that same day that he talked about that, I went outside and I saw his wife out there smoking, and I was just like, man, like stuff like that. And I think that only happens pretty much in the ghetto. Like there's a running mentality. You can't get out of it. You can't get out of the idea that you're going to go to jail at some point in your time, that you're going to be involved in a gang fight, that you're going to be pretty much like when you're growing up, you're going to be, you're going to be put into some really bad situations. That's the mentality that you get while living where I grew up, is that and I'm not saying that I grew up in like the super ghetto, but now it's pretty bad. And maybe it was that bad, I just didn't realize it. But I didn't think that I grew up in an area. But then, like, I guess when you think about when someone else comes from another area, comes into your area, and they say, "Wow, this is a bad area." Like, I had my friend, when I was moving from my last apartment to my new apartment, which my new apartment's like 3 times the size. My last apartment, I was there and I thought it was fine. I thought I was like in a pretty good apartment. And then my friend came in, he was like, "Wow, this is the smallest apartment I've ever seen in my life." And I was laughing, and he was like, "Damn." He's like, "How did you live here? I'd be so claustrophobic." And I was like, "I know." And then I didn't realize that though. I didn't realize that until he said it. And then I got into my new apartment. Now I can never leave at least I don't think I could ever live in an apartment that small again. That was just crazy. And it takes, I guess it just, takes another person's perspective. Even if you guys aren't talking to me directly, I am thinking about, how I can deliver this message to you guys so that you can sort of understand it, because there's a lot of things I can't explain that are too personal. And that I just have to, I have to dumb down the story just to tell you guys, and so you guys might understand. But just thinking about that, like that teacher, like I can't believe she, at the end of that year, she asked me where the beer was. That's pretty well, it's pretty fucked up, but it's pretty funny in the same right. And that is another example of the running mentality behind them, like living in the ghetto and stuff like that. And there's a monster behind me. I've got to make another sword. Let me see here. I don't have any. Oh yeah, I do. All right, there we go. I got you. Man, the story of that teacher is just ridiculous. Now whenever I see Tecate, that's all I think about. I don't want to take on one of those. I'll leave my bench there. I have 2 benches anyways. I don't need 2 benches. Now whenever I walk by like a grocery store and I see Tecate, I just remember her like, where's the Tecate? It's so funny. I gotta tell that one to my parents or something. That's just hilarious. That's probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever like thought about and realized after a while. But it is also sad because she still has that bumper in her classroom. I'm sure she still does the same speech. But I guess it's not, I mean, it is hypocritical of her, but it's not like, maybe there's like, maybe now she says like, drink responsibly instead of, or drink until you're 21 or whatever. Come on, blow up. Is there another creeper behind me? Oh, yeah, there was. Get out of my way. Like trying to dodge these. I don't have any armor. Oh, I'm gonna die so fast. Got him. Ah, there's another one. This is gonna be a night full of fighting and trying to get out of here. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are out there who struggle through things that you don't even know, and you don't know people's stories. You don't know anybody's story, and so whenever somebody pisses you off, in real life, say they cut you off or something like that, sometimes it's better just to leave them alone, because you don't know where they, or what has happened to them. You don't know what they're going through at the moment. I remember this one lady. My mom was cussing out this one lady on the road, and because she kept cutting her off, and like this lady was going slow, and then she kept cutting people off and going crazy and driving all over the road, and my mom just like at a stoplight just rolled down the window, and they just started like cussing at each other. Oh no. Oh, I'm dead. I'm totally dead. I am so dead right now. Well, they were cussing each other out, and then that lady, as soon as my mom didn't But she was, my mom just stayed like at the light or whatever, and then that lady started driving, cause she like sped off, and so as soon as she started speeding off, someone just ran a red light. Oh my god, and T-boned her. If you guys don't know what a T-bone, it means like they hit directly the side of her car, and she had like kids in her car and everything, and none of them got hurt, but oh my god, this is not good. I gotta run. I don't have enough food to run, but gotta run. Did I escape them? I think I did. That was a little ridiculous. But I remember this lady, like, she took off and she got hit by a car, like dead on, just boom, smacked right into her. And I to this day, I will never forget her face, like right before it hit. You just see her face, like her mouth opens up, her eyes, just her whole face just opened up, and boom, just got hit by that car so hard. She didn't die, but she went out on a stretcher. I know she didn't die because it would have been in the news, but she didn't die, and her kids were fine. Her car was totally destroyed, but oh my god. But it's one thing that I'll never forget, because that was probably one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. And she was like, it was just so bad. And if that lady, or maybe if my mom didn't, like, you know, get her amped up, maybe she would have saw the person speeding towards the red light. Maybe would have thought differently. Probably not, because she was probably yelling at her kids and all that. Or maybe it had to happen. Maybe that event, maybe my mom was part of that event. Maybe my mom had to do that so that that lady would realize, you know, that you know, the mentality she's in. Maybe she needed a God smacking. Maybe something was telling her that she needs to change. And you know, they always say, like, the only time a person changes their diet, really changes their diet, is when they have a heart attack or some health problem comes. That is the only time that they will change their habits. And maybe she needed that in her life in order to change. Oh, these guys again. It's really bad, but you know, it has to happen. If you're oh, and I'm dead. No, I'm not. It has to happen sometimes. Some people have to get smacked around in order to change. It's just the way nature goes. If you're going to emit that sort of energy in your life, then you're going to get that energy in return. You're going to attract that energy. If you are a happy person, you're smiling all the time, then you're gonna get people who are gonna smile back to you. You're gonna attract people to smile back to you. If you are a sad person all the time and you like being sad, you like being depressed, then you are going to attract those type of people in your life. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Minecraft. I am going to I don't know what I should call this episode. I don't know, whatever I call it. I'm sure you guys, if you guys like this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys got to the end, say wooden hatchet. There's a lot of things to type in the comments in this one. But I hope you guys have an epic day, epic night, whatever time it is you guys are watching this at. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Peace out. I'm going to go to the river.